Before the books, before the global conferences, before millions heard her voice, there was a little girl living with a secret that would shape her life in ways no one could see. Her name is Joyce Meyer. Born in 1943 in St. Louis, her early life was far from the platform she would one day stand on. Behind closed doors, she endured the years of abuse at the hands of her father. Not once, not twice, but repeatedly. Silence became her shield, pain became her companion, and like many victims, she carried the weight alone. Outwardly, life moved on. She went to school, she smiled, she tried to be normal, but inwardly, something was breaking. As she grew older, the damage followed her into adulthood. Her first marriage entered at a young age, ended in a divorce. She later admitted she was deeply broken, struggling with anger, insecurity, and emotional instability. At one point, she even began stealing small things from her workplace, not out of need, but as a reflection of the turmoil inside her. This wasn't the life she wanted, but it was a life her pain had created. Then in her early 20s, something began to shift. She married Dave Meyer, a man who would become a stabilizing force in her life. But the real turning point came in 1976. One morning, while driving to work, she had an encounter with God that she would never forget. She later described it as being overwhelmed by the love of God, so real, so powerful. It flooded her entire being. For the first time, she didn't feel broken. She felt loved. That moment didn't erase her past overnight, but it started the process of healing, a deep, painful, but necessary transformation. She began studying the Bible intensely, listening, learning, and growing. Slowly, the anger began to fade. The bitterness began to loosen its grip, and a new voice began to rise within her. A voice that would one day speak to millions. She started small, teaching Bible studies in local settings. No spotlight, no fame, just a woman sharing what she was learning. But something about her message was different. It was raw, honest, practical. She didn't preach perfection. She spoke about pain, about healing, about the everyday struggle people were afraid to admit, and people listened. Our ministry began to grow, from small gatherings to larger meetings to radio broadcasts, until eventually our voice reached television and then the world. Through what would become enjoying everyday life, Joyce Meyer began teaching millions how to navigate real life with faith. Not just Sunday faith, but Monday morning faith, everyday faith. She wrote books, traveled globally, spoke to crowds numbering in the thousands, yet she never hid her past. In fact, she made it part of her message, because her story wasn't just about success, it was about healing. She would later publicly share her experience of abuse, breaking years of silence, and even choose to forgive her father. Not because it was easy, but because she believed it was necessary for her freedom. That decision shocked many, but it also inspired millions, because it proved something powerful, that a person's past does not have to define their future. Today, Joyce Meyer is known around the world as a best-selling author, a global speaker, a voice of encouragement to countless people. But behind the platform is still that same story, a story of pain turned into purpose, a story of brokenness turned into strength, a story that reminds us that even the deepest wounds can become the very place where healing begins. So here comes the big question. If someone can rise from that level of pain to impact millions, what could be waiting on the other side of your own healing?